And hello, good afternoon everyone sa mga nakatutok sa PT Meal Podcast. And good morning sa mga nasa US. Good afternoon sa mga nasa Philippines. This is PT Meal Podcast Live. Um, Welcome. So I was supposed to upload an episode last week, Sunday. Kaso lang nasa APTA CSM ako that time. And ano, dapat gagawin ko yung reflections ko every day, parang ganon. Kaso nakakapagod eh. It was my first time sa CSM in person to attend. Last year I was there. No, last year virtual lang yung CSM, pero nag-attend ako. Iba yung experience when you're attending live. Sobrang daming tao. I heard 11,000 yung nag-participate. It was held in San Antonio, Texas. So yun. So yun ang nangyari. First time ko mag-attend ng CSM, daming tao, and daming learnings. So yun yung isa sa mga reasons bakit ako pumunta sa CSM para makinig ng mga lectures. Pangalawa na siguro yung meet yung mga Filipino physical therapists na mag-attend. Usually, yung iba mga na-interview ko na sa podcast, yung iba first time ko lang ma-meet. But before that, I want to share that I am part of the UST Alumni Association, and we are going to hold an event this coming March in celebration of the Women's Month this March. So we're gonna hold this event, Virtual Women's Health Summit 2022. So I hope may yung mga interested na mag-attend. So we'll have some topics focused on women's issues. So first day would be pelvic health, pelvic pain, assessment and treatment, then pelvic health in aging women, and understanding breast cancer and lymphedema. Second day naman, more focus on mothers. First one is movement approach to prenatal and postpartum care. Next is the physical and mental well-being of mothers during this pandemic. And the last one is caring for your child. Yan. And for yourself as well. So, kailangan ng mga may idea tayo about what women are going through, so that we can serve them better kung nandun yung market nyo or yun yung population na tinitreat nyo. Okay? So, this is just gonna be a short reflection. Let's say this. This is gonna be a short reflection. I'm just gonna try yung day one. Kasi parang hindi ako prepared. Pero I just want to share yung takeaways ko from the first day of the CSM. So ito. So, yan. My reflection. So, ito yung mga Filipino physical therapists that I met in the CSM. So, si RV, I've interviewed him already sa podcast. Tapos si Ira, then Lady, surprisingly, nag-jive kami agad. We felt like parang matagal na kayo magkakilala. And Sir Sam. So yan. So sila yung madalas kong kasama in that event. Okay. So the first talk that I attended was management of the difficult patient. It was the Carol Lewis lecture, and the speaker was William Staples or Bill Staples. And ang question niya is like if we encounter chronic, I mean difficult patients, what do we do? Like patients that are difficult, patients who have chronic pain and mental health problems. Anong gagawin natin when we encounter those patients? Which is sometimes parang nakaka-overwhelm din kasi, di ba, pag chronic pain patients are very, or patients with chronic pain, they're very complex and there's a lot of factors that go into that. So, anong kailangan natin gawin to deal with that, di ba? For chronic pain, for chronic pain, hindi siya parang acute pain na you feel the pain because there's an injury. For chronic pain, um, sometimes a person experiences pain even with the tiniest or no actual stimulus. So anong kailangan natin gawin? It's I think we must acknowledge really. Yung sabi dun sa talk, we should acknowledge that the patient is experiencing the pain, that the pain is valid. Um, but we have to, tread the line na the pain is coming from the brain. No, ay, hindi man natin gusto sabihin na the pain is in your head, diba? Pero but that's the reality eh. The pain is in the brain. So it sometimes pain is a learned experience. So what do we do? May mga challenges yung si Bill dun sa talk niya. Like, do we need um, to take increased psychology classes of physical therapy? Because when dealing with chronic pain, minsan we have to change the behavior as well, not just the behavior towards exercise, but the general behavior of the patient. Sometimes they feel helpless. They don't know what to do. They don't know what causes the pain. So, um, what do we do now? Di ba? So, dun papasok yung education natin for pain. Diba? Another difficult patient that um, Bill described was patients with mental health problems. Um, Sila yung sometimes they have like anxiety, they have depression, they have stress and stuff like that. So how do we deal with it with patients with mental health issues? Siyempre, we have same as with people with chronic pain. We have to acknowledge what they're feeling. We have to be empath empath empathetic and calming. Yung sabi niya sa lecture niya, we have to listen to what the patients are saying, and we have to set boundaries. Let's treat the patient as our partner. Let them take control of their health. So parang doon sa previous live na ginawa ko about trauma informed care, same as that. So you have to empower the patient uh, to acknowledge what he or she is feeling and expressing, create a safe space for them. So yun nga, again, the call to action from that lecture is, okay, ano pa yung kailangan natin as physical therapists? We're slowly diving into, unti-unti, we're diving into uh, psychological realms. Kasi nga, di ba, we're moving out of the biomedical model and we should be embracing the biopsychosocial model of care. Biopsychosocial, then of course, you know, uh, the psychology of a person, the kailangan we have to have some form of approach there as well. So, as physical therapists, handa na ba tayong mag-dive into psychology? Or huli na ba tayo? Or kailangan ba nating humabol? So, something like that. Tapos, mga call to action niya is um, pain neuroscience education and mindfulness or acceptance based interventions or cognitive behavioral therapy. So, I mean, if you're a musculoskeletal patient, a musculoskeletal PT, um, ano ba, neuro PT, siguro these are some areas that you can uh, explore kasi you're gonna one way or another encounter patients who have chronic pain, no? Eh, hindi natin kaya yung sabihin lang natin, oh, we will do this mobilization or manipulation and do these exercises at home. Eh, some of the sources or factors that affect chronic pain would be um, psychologic factors. So and behavioral factors. So paano yun, di ba? So kailangan meron din tayong approach towards that. Okay. The next talk that I attended was on PNE, Pain Neuro Science Education. And medyo na-starstruck ako dito sa ano na to, sa talk na to kasi one of the speakers is Adrian Low. Um, I've been listening to his lectures sa Medbridge and bought his book on Pain Neuro Science Education. So in this talk, mga key takeaways ko is low. First one, when we talk about, very common, low back pain. Di ba? When we talk about low back pain, patient with low back pain, we usually focus on the low back. Tama ba? So we try to do exercises, focus on lumbar stability, on mobilization, manipulation of the low back. Pero we forget the pain part. Di ba? So sometimes hindi natin nagagawa yung attention, hindi natin nabibigyan attention yung pain component. Meaning, ano ang intervention natin on the patient's understanding of pain. So, yun yung very, parang sabi ko nga, nung nilabas nila yung slide na yun. Siyempre, I can show you kasi, bawal. Pero, nung nilabas nila yung slide na yun, parang, oo nga, no? Parang, we focus on the low back. All interventions are focused on the low back. Pero, ano yung intervention natin to educate pain? So, tama nga, tama. So, parang doon nagsimula yung, niya, lecture about pain neuroscience education. Tapos, they explain that PNE is an approach and not a technique. So it's never PNE alone. Based on the studies, parang PNE works well with movement-based approach. So that's why they call it PNE plus. The plus is whatever intervention you include or provide the patient. PNE is the education, then the plus is whatever you choose or whatever is appropriate for the patient. So PNE is an approach and not purely a technique or intervention. So kailangan may kasama lagi siya. So PNE plus your exercise therapy, PNE plus yoga, or PNE plus Pilates, or PNE plus lumbar stabilization, whatever. So laging may ganon. So PNE is an approach. All right. And lastly, yung isa sa magandang presentation din niya is the last part, which is pinaunahan yung part ni Adrian, which is the telling a story. So we have, parang sinabi niya, we have to tell a story to the patient kung how we educate them. We use simple we use simple words, metaphors to make them understand. So parang imbes na tawag dito, ano yung pinakasikat niyang sinasabi? That the pain is an alarm system, parang gano'n. Yung naalala ko, pain is alarm system. Na normally the alarm system is there, pag nakatapa ka ng pako, the alarm system goes up. Okay? Parang gano'n. Then, pag natanggal na yung pako, the alarm system relaxes. So that's how acute pain works. Pero for chronic pain patients, after the stimulus has been removed, it goes down the threshold, pero it's still close to the firing level. So kung hindi siya bumalik all the way down at nagstay siya, lingering siya close to that firing level, any small stimulation would cause that same amount of pain and experience. So, napakaganda na if we explain that way to patients, that to make them understand, mas malinaw sa kanila that, you know, part of chronic pain is how you deal with it and how you interpret pain. No, that it's not just injury, it's not always harmful. No, it's just that the alarm system is very overprotective already, na kailangan nating i-calm yung alarm system na yon. Tapos marami pa siyang metaphors eh. Meron pa siyang nosy neighbors na parang um, nag nagkakagayahan na yung mga um, alarm systems na ang hirap explain eh. Gusto ko sana ipakita yung slides pero hindi pwede. Pero yun, by using metaphors and using language that the patient can understand and relate to, mas madali nilang maintindihan what's going on with them in terms of their chronic pain. Okay. So, tapos you would know a patient's understanding kasi parang may three ways siya. May isang slide tapos may three ways eh. May tatlong daan. Merong no way, meaning the patient doesn't understand it. Yes, yes. Tapos kabilang side, yes, yes, I get it. Parang, ulit. So there's one way, sasabihin niya, I know, I don't get it. Tapos the other way is, yes, yes, I get it, I get it, I get it. And the middle is, I get it. So ang gusto mo yung sweet spot na I get it. Kasi pag sinabi niyang no way, I don't get it, ibig sabihin, reluctant siyang i-accept yung PNE mo, yung education mo about the chronic pain. On the other hand, extreme other side, pag sinabi niya, yes, yes, I get it, parang gusto lang niyang matapos yung usapan. So it doesn't mean that the patient understands that. You want that sweet spot na, I get it, I get it, I get it. I get that my nervous system is overprotective right now. I need to calm it down. I get that, that the alarm system is firing at a very, sensitive level, parang ganon. So, parang meron pa siyang slide doon that, you plant the seeds. The PNE is the seeds sa utak ng patient for that patient to understand kung ano talaga yung chronic pain. So it's very refreshing talaga. I've read this and saw the slides, some of them sa course na inattend ko in MedBridge kay Adrian. Pero it's really different coming from that person. Tapos I asked him I asked a question dun sa lecture niya na parang, because right now I'm handling patients with psychological problems, schizophrenia, bipolar. So parang I asked him kung applicable ba yun sa mga, applicable ba ang PNE sa mga patients na gano'n. And I think the simplest answer sa sinabi niya is, if the patient is reluctant to accept the education, then hindi talaga mag-work sa kanya yung PNE no matter what type of approach you do, no matter how you adjust your language, no matter what metaphor you deliver, kung yung may problem talaga siya in accepting it, either cognitively or behavioral, then hindi talaga mag-work. No? So, I felt like, tama nga naman, if kasi education yun eh. And kung hindi matanggap na isang tao yung education, then it would be, nonsense not to really go through it, diba? So, okay. And it's nice. It's nice to be attending the lecture and be able to ask the author or the researcher, diba? Meron ka talagang first-hand answer. So the last for today is uh, the lecture was Pain in School. It's the parang the second part nung kay Adrian Lau. Um, Nakakatuwa, this in this lecture, they taught PNE in middle school. Kasi in the classic researches on PNE, uh, it's always between the ages of 18 years old to 60 years old, 18 years old to 65 years old. Eh, paano naman yung mga bata, di ba? And the extreme, and the older adults, they experience pain, di ba? So, doon nag-focus yung lecture, which is to create a program and see if they taught PNE in middle school, would the students understand? Would they have a greater grasp of of what pain is? So, kasi I think in the US, health literacy would be around sixth grade, parang ganun. Tapos they showed the fear avoidance model. So parang ang point ng PNE is for for the students to learn about pain so that whatever experience they have, they would consider that as low threat. So hindi siya mag-spiral to chronic pain. So once a person or a kid siguro experience the pain and understands the pain and considers it as low threat, mas maganda yung approach niya sa experience, then it would lead to recovery. Unlike students who would experience the pain and treat the pain as high threat. So the high threat would lead to fear, then avoidance, then negative effect, then mag-spiral again siya to another experience, then uh, higher threat, then fear, then avoidance, parang gano'n. So mag-spiral lang. So parang it does make sense na you already teach kids that pain can be managed and modulated through the brain. Parang gano'n. Na that pain is not always an injury. Di ba? Kung bata pa lang matututunan nila yun, ah hindi mas maganda pagtanda nila. Tapos ganun din, they made it very easy for the students to learn about it. So metaphors again, alarm clock, tapos oversensitive, or the alarm is firing ganon, very overactive, tapos with illustrations and stuff. So their studies found out that there are um, increase in ano ba yung mga naisip nila? Um, so sa 30, there is increase in pain knowledge and improve in beliefs regarding pain. Doon sa isang study nila. Tapos, and the study of fear avoidance naman, nahanap ko yung notes ko. On the study on fear avoidance naman, yung session ng PNE resulted in an immediate and significant improvement in pain knowledge and fear of physical activity. Tama ba? How the potential impact future injury. Yeah. So they generally, what their studies would say, that PNE was effective at at middle age or middle school. Na the kids understand what pain is, and that they can uh, manage their, may sinabi, meron parang may quotes eh. Parang the kid understood, nawala na. So anyway, yun nga, yun, you can control how much pain you feel, yung mga sinasabi ng mga bata. So, parang magandang isama siya sa PE, sa health education, para at a young age, they would already realize that pain is from the brain and that you can manage that through how your beliefs and your attitudes toward pain is. Tapos, as I've said, most of the studies in PNE would be 18 to 65. Eh, paano naman yung matatanda? So they created a um, geriatric version of the PNE. And same results, effective siya for older adults. And they said like, na parang it's never too late to learn about PNE na tawag dito, na hindi naman talaga huli ang lahat. No? There's still some improvement that can be expected na parang you're not drowning in a river kung hindi mo naturuan. No? So there's still hope, improvement in knowledge, decrease in fear, and catastrophizing, even at an older population if PNE is provided. So yun. So those are the three lectures that I attended on my first day. So I think with that, lectures, parang na-focus talaga tayo on chronic pain. So in my practice with psychiatric patients, I encounter uh, a lot with musculoskeletal pain. Most of them chronic, some of them acute, pero most of them are really chronic. So I really try my best to integrate pain education na during the first session pa lang, kailangan mabanggit ko na yung about pain. Pero as Adrian and the other lecturers said, kailangan you have to ask permission to teach them about pain. Kasi if you're just gonna go on right away, tapos hindi pala sila handa na tuturuan mo sila about pain, at the first session pa lang, baka mawala na yung trust. Important ng sa PNE yung building trust. Kaya they are encouraging you to spend more time with patients, the hands-on approach, because that builds trust. So yun. So you ask permission. Okay, is it okay for me to teach you about or talk to you about pain? Hindi teach eh. Parang you're imposing. So is it okay with you to talk if I talk to you about pain? All right. Edi kung if he's open, if the patient is open, then that's one step already in your pain education for difficult patients with chronic pain, and in my case, patients with mental health as well, health issues as well. So yeah, very very encouraging yung first day for me sa CSM. And I will also share the takeaways I had for um, days 2 and 3. Medyo iba naman yung mga topics na inattendan ko. Pero they're all, I, I feel na wala naman tapos sa inattendan ko. Tapos, um, marami eh. Napakaganda yung CSM. If you're in the US, tapos you're a physical therapist in the US, I encourage you to at least attend, experience one CSM in your life. Napakadaming pwedeng gawin. Napakadaming pwedeng matutunan. Napakadaming pwedeng makilala. So yun. For anyone who's again interested in learning about um, hindi pala women's health, we have a summit coming up, sponsored by the University of Santo Tomas College of Rehabilitation Sciences Alumni Association, which I am part of. Um, this coming March 19 and 20. So this would be 2 days, 8:30 a.m. to 12 noon, para hindi naman heavy yung lectures. So this is a fundraising program for the benefit of the USTCRS scholarship fund. Okay. So registration. So kung may nagtatanong registration, I don't know kung meron. Ah, wala yata ako dito eh. For the registration, I think I have. Ayun. Here is the rate. And, the rate and the registration. So, for alumni, Tomasian alumni, yan. The early registration is up to Feb 28. Oh, diba? Saan ka pa? And the regular registration, March 1st to 13. Very, very affordable. Ngayon pa lang. And sana may sumali. Alrighty. Saan tayo? Okay. So, yan guys. Thank you for I know wala na yata. Anyway, yan. Thank you guys for listening to the live. And until next time.